It's a frequent headline in health news, research about the blue zones. So these are the regions where people live longer, up to 100 years old. And if you are wanting to join the centenarian club someday, my next guest says you better start eating like a centenarian. Registered dietitian and nutritionist Liz Weiss is joining me through the screen to share how we can take a page from their book. Hi, thanks for being here today.
It's so good to be here. I want to eat like a centenarian too.
Okay, let's all do it. Let's define this first though. What are the blue zones?
Sure. So the blue zones are these 5 areas around the world where researchers have identified these longevity hotspots. So people are living into their hundreds, they're living longer, and they're also living better, living healthier with vitality. So the 5 areas that have been identified are Loma Linda, California, Icaria, Greece, Sardinia, Italy, Okinawa, Japan, and then the Nicoya, Costa Rica. So 5 very different, diverse areas.
Oh yeah, that really is. So you have dug up some of their secrets, and you're going to have 5 tips for us on how we can eat like people who live in those blue zones. And the first one is to eat a plant slant diet.
That's right. And that means plant forward. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, beans, and seeds. That's the foundation of their diet in these blue zones. Those foods are high in nutrients, fiber, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants that keep us healthy. Now, if you're wondering if people in the blue zones eat dairy or meat, well, in some of the blue zones they do, but they eat smaller portions and only on occasion.
Okay, and speaking of legumes, you say beans. We got to be eating those every day?
Yes. So people in the blue zones eat at least half a cup of beans on average every day. And we can do this. I'm going to turn this off before it gets too smoky because we're going to be cooking beans up in a few minutes. But I love beans as a dietitian because they're so nutrient dense. They have protein and fiber. They contain folate and potassium, which are good for heart health. They're certainly convenient. I love canned beans as a busy mom. And, the nutrients are things like fiber, as I said, and folate for heart disease prevention.
Okay. What is the 80% rule that you say we should be following?
So in some of the blue zones, they follow this 80% rule, which means that they're consuming foods to the point where they feel 80% full. They're not stuffed, so they're comfortably full after a meal. And what that does is that encourages people to eat mindfully. And when you eat mindfully, it helps you to cut back on portion sizes and hopefully attain a healthier body weight if that's a goal of yours. We know the disease of obesity can increase our risk of heart disease and diabetes and certain cancers. And so having that healthy body weight is something that can promote longevity.
How does that help us to eat our meals together?
Yeah, well, eating meals together is another blue zone tenet because in the blue zones, community is a huge part of their lifestyle and feeling like a sense of belonging. September is National Family Meals Month, which I'm excited about. And, when we eat together as a family or with a friend or a neighbor, we're in community. And it really does help us to be healthier and happier. We know that kids who eat family meals, they do better in school, they get better grades. People who eat together, they end up eating a healthier diet. They eat more fruits and veggies. So eat those meals together.
And finally, you're saying just focus on some natural movement.
Yeah, it's not a diet tip, but more of a sort of a movement tip. People in the blue zones are not running off to the health club. What they are doing is walking, gardening, doing chores, and just that natural movement every day keeps them younger, keeps them healthier.
Okay, and you have a recipe that integrates a lot of these elements. So we're going to make sweet potato and black bean chili.
I love it so much. Yeah, so we're going to add beans to our chili, and that's kind of a common ingredient, but I'm going to amp it up with some other veggies. So I'm going to put the heat back on. I have a little smoke coming out because I've sauteed some green onion in olive oil. And what I'm going to do first is add a can of crushed tomatoes. Now, what I love about cooked tomato products, so these canned tomatoes, is that they have a lot of lycopene, and that is an antioxidant that can help to reduce our risk of certain cancers, especially prostate cancer. So we want that lycopene. I'm then going to season my chili with cumin and chili powder and garlic powder. And I was thinking of this earlier that I think oregano would be really nice in here as well. So I'm going to give that a mix and just kind of let it bubble. But because we're on television today, I'm going to kind of speed things up a little bit and show you what else I'm going to add. Because I would normally let this bubble for a few minutes. We're going to add corn kernels. Now you can use frozen, fresh, you can use canned. These are frozen. I just thawed them out. And then I'm also going to add my canned beans. Now, with beans, what you want to do, what I always do first, is I drain and rinse them. That washes away 40% of the sodium. These are black beans, but you could use pinto beans, you could use kidney beans, you could use chickpeas, whatever you have in your pantry. But black beans go in, and remember that half a cup a day is kind of the magic number. Now, because I am a dietitian, I need more veggies. And so we have roasted sweet potato and red bell pepper. And what I did is I diced them first, I tossed them in olive oil, and then I roasted them until they were tender and caramelized, meaning kind of sweet. And so you've got this extra sweetness coming in to this chili, and it's really, really nice.
Well, that looks absolutely delicious. Ooh, a little bit of honey too. And then
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I see in your display there the delicious toppings too. What are we topping this with?
Yes. Well, because I'm a cilantro lover, I know there's a lot of cilantro haters out there. You might be one of them, but I love to add the cilantro, chopped cilantro into the chili, and then I use it as a topping. So here we have our chili. I've added some green onion, some chopped up green onion, avocado, one of my favorite foods. I've got a little bit of shredded cheese, and I add just a dollop of plain Greek yogurt instead of sour cream. You get a little extra protein, a little extra calcium.
Ooh, that's a good tip because I do always throw sour cream in mine. Okay, yogurt instead. Where can we find more of these nutritional recipes and insights from you?
Sure. People can head on over to my website, lizshealthytable.com. I'm on Instagram at Liz Weiss. And then I think I shared the recipe with you guys, so hopefully you'll have it on your website as well so people can check it out.
We for sure will. Studio5.ksl.com. Thanks so much.
Thanks.